What's up? This is Dr. William James here. Um, Here to speak to you about the Queen and Slim film. Do a quick review. So it was a great movie overall. Oh, before I say anything, let you know right now. Spoiler alert: I'm going to summarize the film and review it. So if you have not seen it, stop watching now. Yeah. So great film overall. I like to look at a film and see the impact that a film could have overall, the pros and cons, as I critique the film. So it was a great film. Um, it was written by um, a black sister from Chicago. Her name is Lena Wayath or whatever. She's a play screenwriter, good director. She also helped direct it. And another sister was a director, Melina Matakos, I believe is her name, how you say it. So uh, they were the main writers and directors. They also had some, non-black directors come in and help direct the film. I believe James Frey was one of them. So I also take all of that into consideration when looking at how a film takes place. Um, Obviously the main characters of the film were Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out was the man, and then Jodie Turner Smith was the female actress. I haven't seen her in a lot of things, but I saw her in this. It was interesting how, in the film, they're this black couple representing strong black unity together and fighting the system together. But Jodie Turner Smith is actually married to a white man in real life. So in real life, she has this bedwench energy, but in the film, it's like she's this, strong, enlightened sister and fighting for justice or whatever, however you want to put it. I just take that in consideration. And, obviously it's her private life versus, her being an actress. But do we really, as a society, really separate, the person from their profession? That's a different discussion. But that's just something that I look at and I take into consideration when I was looking at her energy in the film and then her in real life. That lets me further know how good of an actress she is, because I really would have believed it. I really believed it. I really felt it while I was in the film, while I was watching the film, and then just learning who she is privately is like it brings different thoughts to you. But anyway, so the film, it's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways to go with different parts of it to take away from it. So it starts off, they're meeting each other on a date. They met on like Tinder, and this is their first date. So it starts right off there. They weren't in some couple for a long time or anything like that. They had just known each other. Then, he's driving her home, and he tries to like. She's on her phone, and he tries to like snatch her phone, being playful, whatever. Um, and he swerves a little. They get pulled over. So obviously they get pulled over by this white cop. He has his license, registration, and the cop takes his license. Another thing, so when they pull him over, you know, she's talking. Like, they have that back and forth moment with the cop. Like the cop puts his flashlight in the car, and Dan Kaloa or Slim, he puts his hand up like this, and he's like, the cop goes, "Put your hand down," and she's like, he only put it up because you got a bright light in his face. and she starts going back and forth, and he says some stuff, and it's all to highlight the cop's attitude, the white cop's attitude, because he was like, he had an attitude for no reason. So he yells at her like, "Oh, you got something to say to me?" or whatever, and she was like, "No, go ahead." But that's that's a different discussion. Anyway, he goes back to his car, runs the license, registration, everything checks out. And I like that they let us hear that he had no warrants or anything like that. The cop comes back to the car. Mind you, the license and registration, everything checked out. He tells him to get out of the car. He begins asking him questions like, "You got any drugs in the car?" As he passes him down, "You drink?" He's like, "No." He sort of laughs. He's like, "Why is that funny?" Black guy's like, "Because I don't even drink at all." So, it's funny. Mind you, if you do drink, and if you would say you had one drink, even if you're below the limit, they look for reasons to take black people in. Like, I don't drink or smoke, and yeah, I don't want to, but that contributes to why I don't want to. But anyway, so then he asks him, if he has anything to trunk, and he's like, "No." He's like, "Mind if I take a look?" He's like, "Go ahead." Mind you, first mistake, you never let the cops search your car. They need a warrant for that. I don't care how innocent you are. You have rights, and they should be upheld. So don't let them search your car. It's a Fourth Amendment right. You're protected against illegal search and seizure. Anyway, he lets him search it, being overly nice. The guy's going through all through his sneaker boxes, opening it, leaving it messed up. Mind you, that could be an opportunity to plant something, which is why you don't even let them in your car if they don't have to be. But anyway, we don't see them plant anything. They don't show us the cop plant anything. Queen, the female actress, Jodie Turner-Smith, she's a lawyer in the film. Her character is a lawyer. So she's talking as the cop is searching the trunk. She's like, "Do you have a warrant? You need a warrant for that." And he's like, "Oh, I don't need a warrant. The guy already consented to it, so it's not illegal." So don't let them search your car. But she's talking up for him, being the stronger vessel at this moment, because he's just letting the guy do it. And then he's looking at the cop, and he says to the cop, like, "Yo," because it's cold, he's like, "Yo, can you hurry up? We're searching my truck." And the cop's like, "What you say?" He's like, "It's kind of cold. Like, can you hurry up?" So you being nice to him, he obviously not giving a fuck about you or you being cold. That's why you don't even do that. Do what you got to do. If I'm going to get a ticket, I'll try to fight it in court, whatever it's going to be. Not searching my car. So he's just standing there. The cop closes the trunk, pulls the gun on him for absolutely no reason. It's like, "Yo, get on the ground." So now he's about to arrest him for no reason. Queen gets out of the car when she sees the gun pull, and she's like, "What? Why are you pulling a gun?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm about to film this." So she's mouthing to the cop like, "Oh, I'm reaching for my cell phone. I'm reaching for my cell phone." Mind you, it's dark. So, and I was talking about this with someone else. I wouldn't even reach for my cell phone. I would have got out probably with my phone in my hand already. Because she was in the car in the passenger seat. I would have got out with my phone in my hand already. They always look to shoot us for any reason. Like, whatever you're holding is a weapon. If you're holding a brush, it's going to be a weapon. If you're holding your cell phone, it's a weapon. But telling him you're reaching for something and he was like going back and forth, that would be his escape route to say, "Oh, I thought she had a weapon, so I shot her." Because you don't know if the person's wearing a body cam. It looks chaotic. It looks different if you get out and you're already holding a phone. either way, they always try to paint black people as in the wrong. It's a difficult situation for us. Hard to know what you would do until you're in that situation. Which is why you try to prepare for it. Always keep your hands visible, this, that, and the third. If he had never let him search his trunk, they wouldn't have been in that situation. You got out of the car. He wanted to pat you down. All right, can you search my car? No. If you're going to give me a ticket, I'll be on my way. I don't need to be in front of you any longer. I don't need any chances of my life being taken, extended by me being in front of you longer than I have to be. So she goes to reach for her phone, and the cop shoots her in the leg. He sees that. He starts fighting the cop. They fight. They get in a scuffle. He breaks free from the cop. Mind you, when he tackles the cop, the cop's gun falls to the floor. So they get in a scuffle. He ends up getting to the gun. The cop is running up to, attack him again. And he shoots the cop, like, right in the face. Cop dies. They're like, oh, snap, what are we going to do? They're like, yo, we got to get out of here. We got to run. My whole thing is, it's two ways to look at it. Her character was a lawyer. You could look at it as she knows the law so well and she knows the criminal justice system so well. There's no way they're going to get their fair trial, fair day in court, because they killed this cop. Or you could look at it as she's an attorney. She knows the law. She knows that this is self-defense. She knows that this cop was being unjust. She knows that they could fight this. They could beat this if there's evidence. And they would stay there. Anyway, they get in the car. They drive off. They stop like a mile down the road or whatever, and they're talking to one another. Like, what if he had, a body cam? What if there was a camera in the car? Now, with the camera in the car or the body cam, you might be confident in knowing, you might be confident if you know that, based on the situation, to not run. Because they weren't guilty of anything. The body cam is going to show everything he said. He searched the car, didn't find anything, and that he pulled his gun for no reason. You would think that they would beat that case. But when you're black, you never know. So they're in Ohio to start the film, and they decide to run. She's like, we need to run. We need to figure this thing out. Let's go to my uncle's house in New Orleans. So they drive, they get on the road, they go to New Orleans, to her uncle's house. So, as they're driving, the car breaks down. They need to hitch a ride to get to the gas station. They end up getting in a car. They end up getting in a car with a white guy. This white guy is nice. But he's also a sheriff. And they're like in Kentucky when they finally, they run out of gas. So they're running to him in Kentucky. And then, they're talking to him. He's a sheriff. He has no idea yet about what happened. He's nice. He's driving them to the gas station so that they could get gas. They don't have the money. So he's like, I'll buy it. He goes inside the gas station. He gets a gas can. He's going to fill it up. On his radio, it comes across, on his walkie-talkie, it comes across that a cop was just murdered in Ohio. They give the description of Queen and Slim. And this is while he's in the gas station. He's looking outside at his truck at them. And he's like, oh shit, I just picked these people up. They get suspicious. They think he knows because they're watching him look out at them and how he's looking. So he comes back to the car. Queen, she pulls the gun. She's like, yo, get in the car. We know you know. And he's like, yo, I'm sure you had a reason for whatever you did. No harm, no foul. I've had some partners that have crossed the line. She's like, yeah, he crossed the line. We didn't do anything with self-defense. Anyway, they get in the car. They get him in the car. They take him back. They don't kill him. They just put him in the trunk of their old car and they leave off. So they didn't kill anybody unjustly in the whole film. They're driving on the road. They're about to run out of gas again as they get like in the next state. Mind you, they're trying to get to New Orleans from Ohio. She's telling him like, yo, you gotta rob this dude so that we could get gas. Slim goes in the spot in the gas station, and he shows it's a white guy, cashier. He shows the guy, and this is broad daylight. He shows the guys. He lifts up his shirt, and the guy sees the gun. He's like, "Yo, is that a Glock?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, cause the cashier is not thinking it's a robbery, or like at that point, that's how he's reacting. And he's like, can I hold the gun? And then Slim is like, dude, this is a robbery. He's like, yo, you don't look like a robber. So they're trying to convey how, not all white people are that way. This white cashier is sitting there looking at this guy who lifts his shirt to show him a Glock while he's getting gas. And he's just jolly as can be and wants to hold the gun, not even afraid. And he says, yo, you don't look like a robber. Funny thing. He's like, yo, he's not, and this dude is not really scared at all. He's like, yo, let me hold it. He's like, I'll pay for your gas. But if you don't let me hold that gun, you're going to have to rob another gas station. And the dude was Slim. He was doing sort of dumb things the whole film. This is one of the dumb things he did. So he lets the guy hold the gun, loaded, and the guy's pointing at him, and he gets nervous, and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I thought you were gonna just let me, I thought you were gonna just hold it and then pay for my gas." He could have shot him in the head right there. Got away with it scot-free. Like, yo, you came in here, tried to rob me. I turned the tables on you. I shot you with your own gun. He ends up not shooting him. He laughs it off. He's like, thank you. And he pays for his gas. I missed one part where they, when they had first took the truck and they were eating in a restaurant. Small part where the kid is playing in the parking lot, and they didn't want to go in the restaurant and buy their food because they didn't want anyone to recognize them. But the kid paid for it, and the kid shows them the video now that there was a dash cam video for the police officer's car. So as they're on the run now, they know that there's video out there of the incident and what occurred. So it's up to them now that they know that there's a certain amount of evidence of how the whole situation went down as to if they want to run or not. They don't know if it's body cam footage. They know it was a dash cam video because it went viral. The kid's father is telling them how he respects what they did, standing up. That's a powerful move. And it's sort of comedy in there, but it's truth. But anyway, they're on the road. After they get the extra gas for that, they from that little botched robbery, they drive to New Orleans and they go to her uncle's house. Mind you, they would have known about that uncle. They would have found out, because they found out about his family, Slim's family. So they would have found out about her family. Even though they sort of send a message that she's detached from her family, because, she was never close to her father and her mom died. She was a lawyer. Her mom died. The uncle she goes to visit is the person who killed her mother. She defended her uncle in court. So they would have known that this was kinfolk. They would have known that this was someone she had who she probably could run to. And that place would have been swarmed with police immediately. They would have known about that place as well. However, in the film, they don't. We'll get to that. But anyway, her uncle is some pimp when they get to New Orleans. So, you know, he has money or whatever. A different woman. They disguise themselves there. You know, she cuts her hair. He gets a haircut. And they were going to hide out there for 2 days. But he gets into an argument with one of his women. And a cop shows up. I guess a neighbor reported or whatever. One of his women used to mess with one of the cop who shows up. So that's more comical things in it. But the cop spots a truck. He's like, "Good, you got a new truck?" He's like, "Nah, I don't know who truck that is." And the guy wants to come in. He's like, "Do you have a warrant?" "Can't come in unless you have a warrant." The cop was like, "I'm gonna get a warrant and I'll come back." So he alerts them that you gotta leave. So they change clothes. He gives them a car. They drive. They burn the truck. They get on the road. He gives them like $2,500 to help them, and he sets them up with an address in Florida, someone he knows from when he was in the Army. And so they get onto the road to go to Florida. They don't seem as pressed or as panicked to try to escape as they should, because at this point now their plan is to try to get a plane so they could get to Cuba. They bring up Assata Shakur and how she fled after she escaped prison or whatever, and she went to Cuba. So this is sort of their plan, but they don't seem as pressed to do it. So as they're driving to Florida or whatever, they're stopping and stuff. So they stop at a Georgia jazz club, old school jazz music or whatever. And the people in there recognize them. They don't know it at first. It's sort of strange that they stopped and were that comfortable. Like, you're on the run for killing a cop. And it's on camera. But anyway, that's just little stuff that was like weird to me. I don't know. I think I would really be trying to get to freedom, trying to get out of the country if I could. But anyway, they stop at this place and they don't know that people notice them. He goes to the bar to get 2 drinks. Well, to get her a drink, to get Queen a drink. He doesn't drink, she drinks. They were dancing at first. He wanted to dance, so they dance. And then, he had promised her a drink to get out the car because she wanted to keep going. He goes up to the bar, and the lady gives him 2 free drinks, and she's like, they're on the house, and you are safe here. And that was a strong moment in the film that she was on code like that she recognized that they weren't wrong in doing what they did, and that she let him know, like, you don't got to worry about me calling no police on you for what you did, because you were right to do what you did. And there, who stands up for people like that in that situation? So she was on code, minded her business, gave him drinks on the house. He goes back over to Queen, and he's like, yo, the bartender knew me. She recognized me. And Slim is like, Quinn is like, yo, we got to get out of here. He's like, no, I think we're good here. I really think so. they were good there. So that was a strong message. They were good around all of those people who were their people and who were on code or whatever. So then they continued driving. I forgot which point it was, but she said something about it's all good. He said something about, oh, it's all good, this our people. But she said, that might not always be a good thing, which is true, because all people ain't your people. A lot of people are Oreos, and a lot of people are coons. So just because they look like you outwardly doesn't mean they have your same mindset and thinking. They're not everyone is woke, and we're going to get to that at the end. But anyway, they continue to drive. After they leave that, they get to Florida. Here's where this abolitionist thing came in, reminded me of slavery, because when they get to Florida, they pull up that wasn't even in Florida yet. I think that was still a part of New Orleans, because when they leave the white guy's house, they go to Florida. So when they get to this guy's house, I think it was another part of New Orleans or somewhere down south. From him, they go to Florida. So they get to his house. The uncle sent them to this guy's house. And he's a white guy, and he has his wife, also white. And they pull up in the car, and their neighbor is looking out. So the neighbor's going to report it. But he lets them know, like, yo, you're safe here. He was like, yo, even if the cops come here, they ain't going to find you. So the cops come. The cops end up coming. Like, they send the whole SWAT, because this lady called and said she sees the cop killers. They're like, yo, get upstairs. Hide under our bed. All through this dude's house, he got, like, booby traps. He got, like, not booby traps. He got, like, trap doors and places to hide in the floor. So they go under his bed, and they're under the floor. Cops come search the whole house. They don't know he's there. They're there. They're hiding underneath. So they make it past that, but the cops still stake out the house the next day. They go to... So they believe the house is being staked out in the front, so they jump out the window in the back. It's like 2 stories up. It's high. Anyway, they jump. They make it. They go to the garage on the side of the house, and it's a car in there. Cops are in the front. It's a black cop and a white cop. The white cop is talking to the black cop, and the black cop feels like offended at the language that the white cop is using. His diction, he's like, yeah, you city boys or this and that. Black cop's like, don't call me boy. He's like, you know what I mean. Which shows how sometimes it's just naturally in certain people's character and brain and upbringing to come across as racist. Because that's just how they were raised. They were raised around that diction and raised around that structure. Anyway, that black cop wasn't having it. So her shoulder had popped out when she jumped off from the second story window and rolled. He puts it back in place while they're in the garage. The cop heard it. The black cop was the only one who heard it. And he's like, you hear that noise? And the white cop was like, nah, what noise? I feel it was key at that point that they showed that the black cop was on his job while a white cop wasn't on his job. Because we get the reputation as being lazy workers and all of this stuff. He was being, like, real on point about, his job. So he's like, yo, I'll go check. He goes, he checks. Slim knows how to start a car with a screwdriver. They're in a garage. They use the toolbox. He starts the car. That's the part of the film where you see the black cop open the garage and he looks dead at them. They had started the car. The black cop had his hand on his gun. He takes his hand off his gun and he waves them through, like, go ahead. He let them go. The cops were to the left. They turned to the right and they were able to go free. He comes back to the white cop in the front. And he's like, yeah, was it anything? Did you hear anything? He was like, yeah, it was 2 deer caught up in some bushes and some branches. I set them free. So, and he's smirking. I felt there was a lot in that, like a lot of figurative language in that moment, saying, 2 deer, I set them free, because it was 2 people, 2 human beings that he had set free by allowing them to go. It was a powerful moment that he was on code too. And he was law enforcement. He still was on code. They continue going. They leave from there. They get to the white guy who they were talking to before the cops ambushed. He gave them an address in Florida to meet with a guy who had a plane who could drive them, who could get them to Cuba. So they leave, they're driving. They do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to say every little thing in the film, but some stuff, like they stopped and they got on a horse. Just silly stuff that I don't know if we really would be thinking about that in that moment. So they're really tired. They stop somewhere in the vicinity of where they're supposed to meet this guy. And they fall asleep. The next morning, this black guy walks up to the car they had got in, like a Volkswagen type thing. And he has a shotgun and he's pointing at him. And then he takes it off. He's being all cheerful. And he's like, yo, come with me. And they're looking at him. They're like, yo, are you the guy we're supposed to meet? They led him with too much. They start naming names, and he's just like, yeah, I'm such and such. Yeah, I'm supposed to pick you up. Yeah, I'm supposed to do this. And they're sort of suspicious. They don't know if it's him or not. He's like, yo, you could come with me, or you could stand here like a dummy and, wait for the cops to come get you. So they go with him to his trailer. He gets on the phone. He's acting like he's calling the dude that, for the plane. He's like, yo, he can have it ready for you in first thing in the morning. They're like, yo, we need to go now. We need this tonight. So he's like, I'm going to call him again. They're still suspicious. So Slim is like standing trying to monitor the phone call, looking at him. And he's like, yo, he said he can have it ready in an hour. He's like, cool. So they sit down. Oh, dang, I done missed the part with the when they was driving. Let me go back. When they were driving, their car broke down. Before they got to this guy, their car broke down. They had to push it back a few blocks to get it fixed. They're at a mechanic to get the car fixed. And older guy, black mechanic, he knows who they are. He doesn't tell them that at first. He just charges them like, $2,500, all of the money they had. Then he tells them like, yeah, do you have any other choice? And they're like, wait, you know who we are? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm old, I'm not blind. He's like, then why didn't you give us, a discount? He's like, because I don't agree with what y'all did. He's not on code. He's not on code. He starts saying, oh, I would have just took my ticket and been about my business. Mind you, he doesn't know the situation. He knows what he saw on body cam. They were innocent. Not on body cam, on the dash cam. They were innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. But anyway, they're nagging him. They're like, yo, we not leaving you alone with this car. This, that, and the third. We don't know what could happen. He's like, yo, I'll work fast without y'all here. They was like, well, we ain't leaving this. He was like, how about if I give you some insurance to, your car will be all right and everything will be here when you get back. So he has his son, come occupy them, take them for a walk. His son looks like he's between 12 to 14. And the son knows who they are, and he's like, amazed that it's them. He saw them on TV. So he takes them for a walk. I don't know why you would have your son take people you deem as murderers for a walk when you don't agree with what they did. That's just my view. I don't understand that part of it. But anyway, he let his son take them for a walk to occupy them while he fixed their car. And the son is telling them like, yo, what y'all did was a big deal. We're gonna be having a protest tomorrow to support you guys. So he's in, amazement. And it was weird parts of the film where, like, they're not saying anything. The characters their mouth isn't moving, but it's like they're speaking, like an over voice, or, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, he looks up to them. They come back to their car, and he takes their picture. Mind you, this is about 4 or 5 days later after the whole incident with the cop, because they were on a run total for 6 days. So he takes their picture, they go about their business. The next day, they have a protest. And I don't know how to feel about this. They show him going to the protest, and all types of cops are out there. His son, the guy who didn't agree with, the mechanic who didn't agree with what they did, his son pulled a gun at the protest on a cop. And it's like this secluded incident amongst all this chaos of the protest of this black cop walking up to him and like, man, will you go home before you get arrested? I'm just out here trying to do my job. And he pulls a gun and stares off at the black cop. Then he actually shoots him in the head, kills him. That was crazy. I think they were trying to show how some people who are not mature enough could get the message misconstrued and just think it's about cop killing rather than fighting injustice. So I guess that was the message they were trying to convey. But it could look like they're trying to show black boys are violent still. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know how to look at that. And it's a black on black crime at the same time that they're trying to convey because he shot a black cop. It depends on how you twist it, how you look at that. Yeah, so they heard about that while they were on the run. Fast forward back to where I was. When they get to the place they were sent to by the white guy, the black guy picks them up, takes them to his trailer, makes the phone call like he's gonna get them to the plane. He gets in the car. He tells them it's an hour away. We gotta leave now. They leave. They're driving. The whole thing seems suspicious to me that they would just sit in the back seat. I would it's only an hour drive. Like, yo, I think I can make it in the trunk. I don't want to be seen at all if we go on to Freedom. Anyway, they drive. They get to the airport or whatever where they are. They see the guy with the plane, signals him over. He lets him out of the car. He pulls off. Soon as he pulls off, all of the cops show up. They come through. This black dude has set them up. Because mind you, throughout the movie, they had a bounty. The bounty was increasing. It was like $250,000, $500,000, something like that the bounty had reached to catch them. He set them up. This goes to show, like, he wasn't on code. A lot of our people are sick. They'll put money first. They'll put themselves first. They'll be selfish and give them and do something to benefit themselves, but not the greater good of the community. How strong would it have been for them to be successful and actually get to freedom? He wasn't thinking about that. He was just thinking about himself and what he could do with that money that they had set out. And that's why we can't get ahead. So the cops come, and those two are standing there, and they're having a discussion with them. Mind you, the cops got guns drawn on them, and, you know, they're saying all of this stuff to each other that they had in dialogue throughout the film about, you know, what they expected from a partner and all of that stuff, because they grew to love each other over these 6 days. You know, you running from the law together, you going through all this stuff together. You know, they had sex at this point, all of this other stuff. Out of nowhere, bam. Now, this is broad daylight. They're talking to each other, holding each other hand. Cop shoots Queen right in the heart for no reason. He watches her fall. She's dead. Slim picks her up. He starts walking towards them. And they shoot him up, kill him. So they die. And that's the end of it. I mean, their legacy lives on. We're seeing that in the film. You know, they get murals painted. They show the murals painted on them. Kids wearing them on T-shirts, Queen and Slim. But, so, you know, I guess they're like martyrs after that. But it was a lot of messages of the power of unity in certain situations, and then how we don't stick together. I feel it was a great film overall. A lot of messages and things that I picked up on. I know a lot of people are going to get from it that they don't. A message that's probably being conveyed is we never can get ahead without the help of another race. We can never just do it on our own. There's another message that I might get. But I do think unity, power, finance is significant to success and overriding oppression. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment, like, subscribe. I may have to do another one. But that's it for now.